in the heart of a gleaming, state-of-the-art laboratory. Dr. Aris Thorne stood before his life's work, a shimmering, swirling vortex of light. It was the Chronos Gateway, a portal through time itself. His mission was audacious, yet simple: to be the first human to witness the Mesozoic era, to walk among dinosaurs, and to study them in their natural habitat. But there was one paramount rule, a rule he had repeated to himself 1,000 times: observe, but never interfere. The integrity of the timeline was absolute. With a deep breath, he stepped through the shimmering curtain. The sterile air of his lab was instantly replaced by a thick, humid atmosphere, rich with the scent of damp earth and strange, oversized flora. The sounds were overwhelming, the buzz of insects the size of his hand, the distant, ground-shaking roar of creatures he had only ever seen as fossils. He had arrived. Towering brachiosaurs moved with a slow, majestic graze, their long necks reaching for the canopies of giant ferns. A herd of triceratops grazed peacefully in a clearing, their formidable horns glinting in the primordial sun. It was a world both terrifying and beautiful, a world untouched by human hands. Aris felt an intoxicating sense of discovery. He activated his suit's stealth camouflage, becoming a near-invisible shimmer in the dense jungle. For weeks, he moved like a ghost, documenting everything. He recorded the haunting calls of a pterodactyl flock at sunset and mapped the hunting grounds of a pack of nimble vultures. The rule of non-interference was a constant weight on his mind, but the temptation was immense. A scientist's curiosity is a powerful force. Under the cover of his camouflage, he began to secretly collect small samples: a unique glowing fungus, a fossilized insect trapped in amber that was still soft, a leaf from a plant that defied all modern botanical classification. Each specimen was a potential revolution for science, a risk he rationalized as being too small to matter. He was careful, meticulous, leaving no trace. Or so he thought. One afternoon, while collecting soil samples near a riverbed, the ground began to tremble violently. The peaceful sounds of the jungle ceased, replaced by an unnerving silence. Aris looked up, just in time to see it. A Tyrannosaurus rex, larger and more fearsome than any textbook could ever convey, burst through the tree line. Its eyes, cold and predatory, locked onto his position. His camouflage flickered. A momentary malfunctioned in that split second. He was exposed. The beast let out a deafening roar that vibrated through his very bones and charged. Panic surged through him. All protocols, all scientific detachment, vanished. He was just prey. He scrambled back, fumbling with the controls on his wrist to reopen the portal. The T-Rex was closing in, its massive jaws ready to snap him in two. Dirt and debris flew as its colossal feet slammed into the ground just behind him. With a final, desperate lunge, he threw himself through the shimmering gateway as it crackled into existence. He tumbled onto the cold, hard floor of his lab, the portal snapping shut behind him with a deafening boom. He was safe. Was back, gasping for air, heart pounding in his chest. He lay on the floor, the sterile quiet of the present a stark contrast to the chaos he had just escaped. In the days that followed, Aris began to analyze the samples he had brought back. He was exhilarated, convinced he had pulled off the impossible. He had touched the past and returned unscathed. But as he was decontaminating his gear, he noticed that a small, leathery object, no bigger than his thumb, caked in mud and stuck to the sole of his boot. It looked like a reptile egg, but of a species he didn't recognize. A thrill of excitement shot through him. An undiscovered species. He carefully placed the egg in a high-security incubator, eager to see what would hatch. This, he thought, was the ultimate prize. He didn't have to wait long. Within hours, the egg began to tremble. Cracks appeared, and a tiny creature emerged. It was reptilian, but unlike any dinosaur he had ever seen. It was sleek, agile, and had an unsettling intelligence in its eyes. What was truly terrifying, however, was its growth rate. In just one day, it doubled in size. By the third day, it was as large as a dog, and its form was changing, adapting to its new environment at an impossible speed. It was developing traits not from the Cretaceous period, but from modern predators. Its claws grew sharper, its skin tougher. It was evolving, right before their eyes, into a perfect killing machine. Panic, erupted in the lab. The creature, now a monstrous hybrid of prehistoric ferocity and modern adaptability, broke through its reinforced enclosure with ease. Alarms blared as scientists scrambled for safety. This was no longer a scientific curiosity. It was a biological weapon of mass destruction. If it escaped the facility, it could reproduce, spread, and its hyper-evolutionary nature meant nothing in the modern world could stop it. Humanity would be thrown to the bottom of the food chain, hunted into extinction by a predator from their own past. They had to contain it, to destroy it, no matter the cost. The team mobilized, armed with advanced weaponry, preparing for a desperate battle within the sealed-off corridors of the lab. They were fighting for the future of their species. But as the battle raged against the creature from the past, a far more insidious threat was already spreading beyond the lab's walls. No one had paid any attention to the microscopic stowaways. The mud caked on Arise's boot didn't just hold an egg. It was teeming with ancient bacteria and viruses, organisms that humanity had no immunity against. While the scientists fought the monster they could see, a silent, invisible plague was being carried on the wind. The first reports were dismissed as a strange new strain of the flu. A cough here, a fever there. But the symptoms quickly worsened, and the infection spread with terrifying speed across the globe. By the time anyone realized what was happening, it was too late. Aris hadn't just brought back a single predator. He had unleashed an ancient extinction event upon the modern world. A sickness from the age of dinosaurs. The real monster wasn't the creature stalking the lab. It was the one already inside all of us. The timeline hadn't been just altered. It had been given a death sentence. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into what could go wrong, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories. Let me know in the comments what you think the most dangerous thing to bring back from the past would be. See you next time.